Wake up, nerd. It's time to kill yourself.
It's Xenoblade Day!
Why are you wearing shorts and a t-shirt?
Because I didn't think it'd be so cold.
A couple hours ago, you were bitching to me about the snow.
Alright, I got the game. Don't bother me for 2 weeks. Finally, it's time. Alright, here we go. Xenoblade Chronicles X was a JRPG that was released on the Wii U, a console with a user base of 4.5 people, 1.5 of them being myself. For the longest time, this game looked like it was going to be the only game stuck on the system. I mean, for fuck's sake, they ported Tokyo Mirage Sessions and Fatal Frame: The Maiden of Blackwater to the Switch. I don't think I've heard anyone talk about either of those games, re-release or not. Last year, Nintendo finally stopped blueballing the community and announced Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, an enhanced port of the original game. It was at this point I ceased deep-throating my shotgun and proceeded to put it into my use at a later date box. So if I stop uploading after this video, you know exactly what happened. So I boot up Xenoblade Chronicles X and I'm treated to a cutscene. Long story short, 2 alien factions decided to have a turf war over Earth. This resulted in the planet being exploded. But before that, humanity built ships to escape in. It's like Titan AE or some shit, but not really. The White Whale, one of the few ships to escape the destruction of Earth, gets attacked by aliens and crashes on a bizarre planet known as Mira. It's now 2 months after landfall, and it's time to create my character. I decided to play as a woman and model her after my ideal girlfriend, which is just my real-life girlfriend, but with even bigger tits. Unfortunately, there is no boob slider, so I can't have the beach ball-sized tits I so desperately crave. This was a feature that was removed in the international release for the original game. I figured this would be the case. For some reason lately, people have been championing censorship. Usually it's masked by some contrived moral authority, but that's besides the point. Either way, the boob slider wouldn't have made the character creator all that much better. Everything is linked to presets. Basically, this means there's like 2 face types and certain hairstyles are unavailable to you depending on the face type you choose. Otherwise, you're not able to customize much aside from various skin colors, hair, height, and an assortment of awful facial tattoos. The Pokemon Scarlet and Violet character creator is superior. I really hate saying that because that is also a lackluster character creator. This is one of the things that I was hoping they would improve on in the definitive edition, but clearly that wasn't the case. They did add a few new hairstyles, but other than that, nothing really notable. Alright, let's get into the story. If you're expecting this game's story to play out like every other Xenoblade game, you're gonna be disappointed. The way I see it is the other games are more of a JRPG experience, where X is closer to something like an episodic anime. The other titles in the series use a linear open world setting. This enables the player to travel through the world at the pace of the story. Each new zone offers more story, and so on. Xenoblade Chronicles X, on the other hand, is basically open world from the start. It's pretty much impossible to tell a story like a typical JRPG here. Xenoblade Chronicles X has a formula that boils down to travel to location, cutscene, combat, cutscene, and rinse and repeat. In theory, this could work, but they really don't go deep enough into any of the characters like they do in any of the other Xenoblade games. Sometimes there's dialogue options thrown in there. Usually they don't matter. This results in the experience feeling bland, especially if you blaze through the story and ignore things like the side quests or the optional affinity missions. That said, this side content doesn't make the main story better, but it does flesh out the world as well as the characters within it. This change in storytelling isn't necessarily good or bad. It's really down to the preference of the player. For myself, it doesn't really matter because Xenoblade Chronicles X is one of the rare RPGs where I don't find myself caring about the story, and that's because the game is carried by its exploration and combat. Speaking of combat, if you've played any other game in this series before, you'll recognize the basic framework of combat. Players fight in real time, executing auto attacks, bolstered by arts that function as special attacks. Each Xenoblade does this, and each Xenoblade expands upon this system differently. The systems for Xenoblade Chronicles are so complex that I know I would not be able to give you guys like a good full description of it all, so I'm just gonna do a basic rundown. Arts are your bread and butter abilities. Many arts have specific conditions that boost their potency. Furthermore, in Xenoblade Chronicles X, they have 2 cooldown gauges, with the second cooldown having some sort of added effect. While timing and position definitely have an effect in combat, the game still uses the tried and true tab targeting system. This means you won't be Dark Soulsing your way through shit. You'll also have to build your character with the gear, skills, and arts in mind to mitigate or negate incoming damage, as well as dish it out. My chief complaint is the method in which you select arts. It's designed in a way where the arts are positioned pretty far away from each other, and you'll have to scroll through shit. This being a fast-paced game, I often found myself either overshooting an art or prematurely activating the previous art. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and 3 remedied this with a more simplistic design.
I get paid cash by going to my bank and saying, give me all your money, or I'll shoot this place up. And that's where I get my change from for my swear jar.
I would have liked to see something like that done here. Then again, given the fact that this is a remaster, expecting a complete redesign of the combat system is a bit much. Sometimes your allies will make a request for a certain type of art. By following through with this request, you can apply various buffs and heals to yourself and said ally. This is called Soul Voice. Sometimes a Soul Voice challenge will initiate. This is a simple QuickTime event. These will further boost you and your party members. Players can also customize Soul Voices to their liking to provide a range of different buffs. Standing in for the mainline series chain attack is the Overdrive, which is basically playing the game on speed. During Overdrive, all art cooldowns are significantly reduced, and a third cooldown is added, making the arts even more potent. There's a whole color system involved that can extend the length of Overdrive, amongst other things, but I'm not going to go into that. Finally, there is the new mechanic added in this definitive edition called Quick Cast. Quick Cast allows the player to use an art that is still on cooldown. These require charges and are rather limited. Aside from ground combat, there is Skell Combat. Skell Combat is largely similar to ground combat, however, there are a few noticeable differences. First off, all arts are based on whatever equipment the Skell has on at the time, and secondary cooldowns are removed. Instead, there is Cockpit Time, which randomly activates after art use, giving temporary invincibility and instant cooldown on all arts. There is also the Bind ability that allows players to hold down larger enemies who have been staggered. Overdrive returns remaining largely the same, and this time with the added effect of not consuming fuel. If you're looking for a more extensive foray into the Xenoblade Chronicles X combat system, I would suggest checking out my buddy Totally Serious Gamer's video, How Not to Suck at Xenoblade Chronicles X. But before you do that, for the love of God, finish my video. Finish watching this shit, man, please. I need the watch time. Of course, I can't talk about the combat system without at least mentioning the class system. After all, classes determine the weapons a player can use, and in turn, those weapons determine the arts available. There are 16 classes. They're organized like a tech tree, and once a player completes a branch, the weapons become unlocked for use with any class. Oh, I almost forgot to mention, each class has equipable passives called skills. They can be used in any class after unlocking. Needless to say, the variety in which you can build a character in this game is astounding. Do you want to play as Dante from Devil May Cry? Well, max out the Full Metal Jaguar tree to gain access to the double pistols, and the Duelist tree to get the access to the big ol' longsword. What about a Jedi with a Gatling gun? Max out that Galactic Knight tree to get that sleek photon saber, then hit up the Bastion Warrior to unlock that sexy Gatling gun. The options are limitless. The planet of Mira consists of 5 continents: Primoria, Noctilum, Sandy Bum Canyon, Asma, and World 8 of every Mario game. All of these can be explored pretty much from the get-go, and you'll be doing a lot of exploring. After all, as a space colonizer, it's your duty to survey the new world. Both the story and side content are often gated behind survey progress. So anytime you're out doing a side hustle or grinding for material, you'll want to make sure to install every probe, slay every tyrant, and grab every treasure you see. Your home base of New Los Angeles is full of side quests that will keep you more than occupied. Like I said, the affinity missions and side quests are really what fleshes out the world of Xenoblade Chronicles X. I wholeheartedly recommend doing at least some of them if you're going to play this game. Not only are some of these required to progress the game, they unlock more arts as well as playable characters, and some of them are pretty memorable. One affinity mission had me rescuing a cat from giant crabs. Another delved into the traumatic past of one of the main characters.
Yeah. We don't really talk about Lao's family.
Oh my gosh. I didn't mean to...
Side missions are also important, as some of these will unlock crucial features, like more weapon options and weapon customization through module expansion. I can't stress this enough, just bum rushing the story will make the experience far less rewarding. I myself can spend hours just doing some random side quest bullshit, or wandering in the vast world trying to find a cool view. As you progress through the story, you'll unlock Skells, which are the in-universe name for mechs. These mechs are completely customizable and really fun. If you're one of those people that likes to kit bash Gundams and shit like that, this is right up your alley. Furthermore, the Skells open up the world even more than it already was, and in late game, when you get the flight module, it opens up even more. I should also mention the game has an online component. It's probably the weakest part of the game in my opinion, but I'll give you the rundown anyway. Players can recruit other players' avatars temporarily. They will also populate Mira, seeing my friend's avatar conversing in the city, or standing around somewhere in the open world is always a welcome sight. Squad tasks are jobs that the entire lobby works on in their own game. Completing them will get you some rewards and shit. There is also a leaderboard where you can show off how little you touch grass. As far as the actual multiplayer goes, there are instanced missions where you can party up with other players. They are not great.
We've got time to buff up. Arcane Force!
Bruh.
Finally, there's 2 global nemesises. 2 global nemesi. There's basically 2 boss raids in Xenoblade Chronicles X. They basically boil down to doing as much damage to the enemy as possible. When it comes to the soundtrack of Xenoblade Chronicles X, it has high highs and low lows. For instance, there's NLA Night theme. This is the epitome of music. Then you get the key we lost.
which is fucking rubbish. One of the worst parts about the Wii U game was the sound design. Too many times the OST would overpower the dialogue. Luckily, Definitive Edition fixes this problem by letting you adjust the sound levels. Just make sure you do this ASAP, because the default sound levels are still scuffed. We've all seen the comparison images of Xenoblade Chronicles X and the Pokemon games. To be honest, the Nintendo Switch's specs are objectively out of date, but at the same time, Xenoblade, in general, the games have had some of the best looking games on the console. It just goes to show you that if you're good enough at knowing how to make games and work with the tech, you can make stuff that looks impressive. And yes, this is a shot at Pokemon. Monolith Soft also reworked the character designs for the more traditional humanoids. They went with a more anime aesthetic. The characters are a lot more expressive than before, which is important, since the idle animations and emotes are pretty repetitive. I think I still prefer the anime Uncanny Valley aesthetic from the original game, but I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that this redesign is worse. Speaking of changes from the Wii U version, the majority of them are quality of life fixes. Yeah, they fixed the UI, which is a godsend. The original game's user interface was notoriously tiny. Trying to read any dialogue became a chore. They also reworked battle points. Battle points are used to upgrade arts and skills, and now they're refundable. The original game did not have that. It's more accessible and now easier to experiment with. Monolith also removed some of the more tedious aspects of exploration. There are 4 new playable characters, 3 of which are available within the original 12 chapters, and the last is available in the new chapter 13. I'm sure there are other things I missed, but I just don't care. That's about it. Also, since I can't find anywhere else to put this, a lot of NPC models aren't coded with collision, so you'll walk right through people and monsters. This just kills the immersion for me. Yeah, that's about it. I've got about 35 hours of playtime, and I'm probably about halfway through the story by the time of writing the script. So far, it's so good. Having played through the original game on the Wii U, I can say that being locked on that console would have been an abhorrent tragedy. Oh, and by the way, I'm like 90% sure that they're going to figure out some stupid way to interconnect the mainline series and Xenoblade Chronicles X, because fucking Fortnite and Marvel have popularized multiverse bullshit to the normies. I swear if they do that, I'm going to fucking kill myself.
Just ignore